Okay, time for a new video, and whether you are somebody new to my channel or you are returning to my channel to watch this video, it is greatly appreciated. As always, I'm filming this video in one go, so if I stumble over my words moving forwards, apologies about that, and also if the quality of this video is fairly poor as well, if there's any lag, anything like that at all, sadly it cannot be helped, and hopefully it is not too much of an issue for you. This is yet another Eurovision related video here on my channel. As I'm recording this video you're watching now, it is mid-June 2022. This year's competition in Turin is long gone, and the 2023 edition, which may or may not be taking place in Ukraine, is just less than a year away. I have every intention of filming a video soon entitled What We Know So Far about the 2023 competition, but really, we don't know very much at all. Perhaps even the EBU don't know that much at all. So that might be a very short video indeed. However, I have every intention also of continuing to make content for my channel about the competition over this period of time where really not much happens in the world of the ESC. This video you're watching now I'm filming on a bit of a whim, but I thought it might be an interesting idea for some of you. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the past 10 contests and what I like to think of as mid-table mediocrity. Now that's not to say that the songs I'm discussing today are mediocre, but rather that they just happened to finish right in the middle of the results on the night. They weren't anywhere near the top, they weren't anywhere near the bottom, they finished in mid-table, and to be honest, these songs are probably, and this is not me being rude, I think it's true, these songs are probably the ones that end up forgotten about the most. You know, they probably ended up with no 12 points on the night, maybe not even many 10 or 8 points, but they weren't anywhere near the bottom of the scoreboard, and they certainly weren't challenging for the win. So I'm going to go back to the Baku competition in 2012. I haven't even looked at these songs myself, and if you are a regular viewer of my content, then you'll know that I've discussed Eurovision songs over the past 10-15 years or so many times. I'm just going to be repeating myself here, but like I said, I thought that this would be a fairly interesting video idea, a nice concept perhaps, and feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because I'm going to be ranking these in personal preference as I go along to find, for me, the best mid-table mediocrity track of the past 10 editions. So, with that being said, let me just check this here. Move that down ever so slightly. I'm sort of in the dark a little bit, actually. Here we go. 2012. Let's load this up. Now, of course, I may have to round up slightly here because there might be an odd number of participants in the final. 2012. How many countries took part? 26. So we're looking at the song that finished 13th, which is North Macedonia. Cherno I Bello by Calliope. Big star. I believe she tried to represent Macedonia in 1996, which is when there was that odd pre-qualification round for the Oslo contest, and she didn't qualify out of all of the songs that took part in that. It would have been Macedonia's debut. But anyway, here she is, Calliope Buckle, it looks like. She's 55, from Ohrid, and she has been at Eurovision twice. She came back in 2016 in Stockholm with Donna, but she didn't qualify. North Macedonia's entry in 2012, it was the first time they'd qualified for a number of years. She's released a whole bunch of albums, loads of awards, and what have you. Yes, indeed. This song starts off very slow, and then in comes a bit more of a rockish edge, lots of flashing lights, quite a menacing looking drummer, if I remember correctly, and she's really belting this out. There's that note right towards the end, sort of just before the final chorus, so high pitched, almost glass shattering in tone, but she sang very well. It's quite a dramatic type of song. Like I said, there's a bit of a rock thing going on as well. This finished with 71 points, the same amount of points as Romania, but Macedonia finished right in the middle, 13th place. She was in the second semi-final as well, finishing 9th. So she did quite well in the end, actually, to finish as high as 13th, having only just sort of made the final in the first place. I'm not going to look at the specifics in terms of the results, but let's make a note of this as we go along. Macedonia then. in 2012. Not bad. I'm not sure where it's ranked in my personal ranking of all of the songs, but it's certainly not a bad tune whatsoever. I think it's a bit of a fan favourite, actually. I've seen a lot of people rank it very highly. Certainly, if you take a look at the past 15 years or so, this surely has to go down as one of North Macedonia's finest moments. Very good singer, decent song, 13th place, not bad at all. My word, what a ramble this video is already. Let's move on to 2013 then, the Malmö competition. And who finished in mid-table? Well, 26 countries again. 13th place, Romania. Oh boy, this is one of my least favourites of the 2013 competition. It is Cesar with It's My Life. 65 points for this. Did much better with the public than the jurors, which is very unsurprising. This was what a lot of neutrals tune in to Eurovision for. This very quirky, maybe slightly comical style track. It was classical meets pop, and I'm still not sure to this day it really worked. He did try to represent Romania again this year, as a matter of fact. Taking a look at some stats regarding him as a musician, Florin Cesar Uatu is 42. He also auditioned for the X Factor here in the UK. Yes. He is sort of classically trained. He's the son of a flautist. Yeah, this song, it's those high notes and this sort of way of singing. I mean, very good singer, but the song and his voice, they did not match at all. And I think in retrospect, 13th place is very generous for this type of song. He had a couple of dancers. I think he had that long cape or something. He was elevated a little bit. It's been an absolute eternity since I saw this performance. Oh man, I'm not even going to do an impression because it was just really very odd. Not a good blending of styles, really. He went through from the semi-finals. He was in the second semi-final, last on, 5th place. And I will take a look very briefly here. Romania was 7th with the public. Obviously, we don't know the exact split results here, just the average score overall, 7.49. And he was way down, 24th out of 26 nations with the juries. That's really not a surprise at all. I have to say I side with the juries on this one. Oh man, I have a feeling, in terms of ranking these mid-table mediocrity tracks, that Romania 2013 is probably going to be bottom of the pile for me. Let's move on to 2014. Now, I know that Poland was sort of in mid-table. This is the Copenhagen competition, of course, where 37 nations in total took part, and there were 26 in the final. 13th is Switzerland. Now this is a lovely little track, Hunter of Stars. Fun fact, I wrote a poem called Hunter of Stars for my master's manuscript, which did deal with Eurovision a little bit. So there we go. Maybe I'll read it aloud in a future video. Hunter of Stars, Sebolta. 64 points for this. Really lovely track, quite folky. A sort of golden colour scheme, playing the fiddle. I know a lot of people swooned over one of the backing musicians. Might have been the guy playing the fiddle, actually. And whistling is a key element, a key component of this track. We do not really get a lot of whistling at Eurovision, but this song had it. And good place in the running order. But again, quite a big difference here between the public and the jurors. He was 7th, 114 points with the public, but 22nd with 27 points from the jurors. That really is quite a big difference. I'm surprised the jurors weren't more charmed by this very whimsical ditty. Sebolta, real name Sebastiano Paolesi, is 36 from a place called Jubiasco. Quite a handsome chap. Couple of albums, most recently in 2020. It seems as though Hunter of Stars remains his biggest song. Should this have finished a bit higher? Maybe. Looking at the 2014 contest all these years later, it's not one that I really go back to very often. I don't think there's as many quality tracks from the Copenhagen competition. That's just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts. I suppose mid-table's about right for this song. Let me pop in Switzerland 2014. Very nice, very charming, very sweet, very harmless. And the crowd seemed to enjoy it too. Lovely stuff. We haven't really had a song like it since. Moving on then to 2015 in this mid-table mediocrity journey. This was the Vienna competition. 27 songs in the final, so we're going to look at the song that finished 14th in the final. And that's going to be Slovenia, the opening track of the grand final that year. This is Marea with Here For You, 39 points. Quite low, but then again, if you remember the 2015 competition, the top three, Italy, Sweden, Russia, they just sucked all of the focus, and many of the big points went in their direction. So a lot of countries finishing sort of mid-table and lower ended up with very little. Marea, let's take a look. They're a duo, Marietka Vovk and Aleš Vovk, who's known as Ray, and they are, well, he certainly is quite a well-known songwriter. He's written a whole bunch of songs that have been in contention for Slovenia. He also wrote Nishi Sam, Slovenia's 2014 Junior Eurovision entry, and Prva Ljubezen, the 2015 Slovenian Junior Eurovision entry. Both are very good. They are a married couple. They've got two sons, Vid and Oskar. This song, a little bit of a fan favourite coming into the 2015 contest. I remember a lot of people getting quite excited about Slovenia's chances because for a long time Slovenia was a country, and to be honest still is a country, that you never really expect to do incredibly well. That's not me being rude, it's just the truth. I can't remember the last time I listened to a Slovenian track and thought this is a contender to win. But this entry, Here For You, a lot of people really were liking it. And then they were drawn to perform first in the grand final, and their chances were arguably dead and buried there and then. This is a pretty decent track. He's behind the piano pretending to play it. You've got a dancer pretending to play the violin, and that really didn't work for me. I don't think that needed to be there. And then she's there in this white dress, if I recall, with the headphones, which she was always seen with. Quite a distinct singing voice. It's quite up-tempo, got a good beat. But to be honest, looking back, I'm not too surprised this didn't do terribly well. 14th place is fine. Looking at the semi-final, Slovenia were in semi-final 2, went through in 5th place. Not bad. Can't really say much more about this. I think it's a sort of mid-table entry for me as well. I really should have my personal rankings in front of me. But there we go. Where shall we put Slovenia here? Here, I think. Slow 2015. Lovely. There we go. Should have done a bit better. The hype, and there was a bit of hype for this track. It was there, it was present, but unfortunately it just didn't translate on the night. And in the end, mid-table obscurity for this particular track. Not a song that I see many people talking about these days. Excuse me. This is what I mean. A lot of these mid-table tracks, they're just forgotten about very quickly, which is a real shame. 2016, Stockholm, great competition this. Let's take a look. How many countries were in the final? 26. So song 13, and we're going to talk about Austria. Loin d'ici. Far from here, I think it translates as, with Zoe at the helm. This finished with 151 points. Of course, this was the first time that the current voting system was used, where the jury marks were separate, the public marks were separate, and then they were added together rather than smushed together to create an overall mark. This Austrian track, again, this is quite interesting actually doing this video, because it's another example of a song where there was a real difference between the jury opinion and the public opinion. The public really enjoyed this one. Taking a look at the split results, Austria were 8th with the public and 24th with 31 points from the jury. That's really surprising. Again, it's a charming track that the juries just didn't enjoy. Maybe they thought it was too twee. It is a very sweet, maybe slightly saccharine entry. In French, this was the first entry from Austria in French, completely in French, ever, I want to say. I could be wrong. Just cute as a button, really lovely, sort of, you know, a spring day. This is on in the background. Sunshine, very cutesy, very pleasant, very harmless. Feels a little bit Junior Eurovision-esque, but that's not a bad thing in this instance. In the first semi-final, Austria went through in 7th place. Did the juries dislike this one then? No, they had her in 11th place. The public had Austria 2nd, only behind Russia. Very, very impressive indeed. It's a really good track, this. I'm going to put Austria here. I think I'm going to have to do it this way because my whiteboard now is getting a little bit crowded. Yeah, lovely stuff. Let me know your thoughts on it. Loin d'ici. Is that the first song that's not in English? I believe it is. Well, there we go. So this would have finished a lot higher had the juries been on board. This would have probably finished safely in the top 10 had the jurors dished out, I don't know, 50 more points or something. But no, 13th, a bit of a public darling, but not a jury darling. Moving on to Kyiv 2017, the 62nd edition of Eurovision. Of course, we could be back in Kyiv next year. That remains to be seen. 26 songs in the final, 13th place for Croatia. Oh, well, this song, when it was released, this is Jacques Houdek, big star, with My Friend. When this song was released, I remember a lot of people thinking, what on earth is this all about? This doesn't really stand much of a chance. And then the performance in the second semi-final, I believe it was. Yes, he went through in 8th place. Yeah, quite humorous the way that this was executed. He was duetting with himself. His face was on the LED screen, the beard, the suit, the black jacket. You know, because you've seen the performance, I'm sure. And it was just like he was turning from side to side, sort of singing normally, and then all of a sudden he'd be doing this sort of classical style voice as well. A rainbow appeared at one point, the falling rain pyrotechnic effect, the violin. Oh my word, it was it felt very dated. It felt very theatrical. It felt very cheesy. And yet, this was a great example of one of those songs that maybe not a lot of people are really loving at the time. And yet, somehow, the points pour in. Croatia, again, big difference between the jury and the public opinion here. He performed 13th as well. Let's take a look at the split results for the final. He was 22nd with 25 points with the juries, and he was 9th with 103 points from the public. That's above France, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Norway, the Netherlands, the UK, Lucy Jones, 12 crappy points from the public. Croatia, 103. My goodness, absolutely outrageous. Anyway, mid-table obscurity for Jacques Houdek. Now, to be fair, cracking singer. I know that he's a bit problematic with some of his opinions as well, but we won't go into that. But a really, really good singer. Years ago, he had a song in the Croatian national final called Stotinama Godina, which is arguably a lot better, worth checking out. Let's add this song to the list then. My Friend. Where shall we put it? Now, I should say, actually, Croatia, I've mentioned this before, since the introduction of the semi-final format, Croatia has only been a personal finalist for me once, and it's with this song. Would you believe it? My friend. Oh, God. Backwards, a bit of a schizophrenic performance when you think about it. Come on. Where am I putting this song? I think I'm going to have to put it here. That'll do. my God. Couldn't make my mind up there. But that's Croatia 2017, mid-table obscurity. Moving on to 2018, the Lisbon competition. What a great show it was. Several years ago now. In the final, 26 nations, 13th place goes to France. One of the favourites to win ended up nowhere. This is Madame Monsieur with Merci. Merci being the name of a young girl, a young refugee, I believe. Wonder what happened to her. 173 points for this really lovely track. Quite mid-tempo, doesn't really build up to much. Male-female duo, they are a couple, aren't they? And there's that moment towards the end with that hand movement and the crowd were really getting on board. It's a sort of light chant, shall we say. Oh man, this deserved to do much better. I believe the first 12 points of the night went to France, and that got people very excited. And then in the end, absolutely nowhere. A great example of a song that a lot of people think is going to do well, and then the points don't actually pour in. Unlike Croatia, in this instance with France, not a whole lot of love going Madame Monsieur's way. Looking at these split results ever so briefly, 8th with the juries, I should think so. 17th with the public. Outrageous. This is just a really lovely song. I thought it was staged very well. The vocals are good. They sort of moved along that sort of catwalk stage thing as well. It's quite powerful, but it's not really emphatic or in your face. Like I said, there's a subtlety to this particular entry. Really wonderful stuff. Deserved better. Performed 13th. Finished 13th. And I have nothing else to say about it. It is one of my favourites, though. I think it's my 6th favourite of 2018. So there we go. France. Another song not in English. Moving on. Tel Aviv 2019. We're really getting through this now. Yes, indeed. The 2019 competition. 26 nations in the final. Finishing 13th. Cyprus. Opened the first semi-final. Ended up finishing 9th. Which was very unexpected. And then this song finished 13th. 109 points. Tamta with replay. Tamta is 41, actually born in Georgia. This song, now, I wasn't really a fan of the presentation. I thought it was quite bland. She was in this sort of shimmery silver outfit and the leather jacket, a couple of male dancers, a bit of pyro near the end. It's a catchy song. The music video, that wasn't bad either. Really, this was Cyprus trying to do something similar to Fuego, but not quite as sexy, I suppose, not quite as arresting. I don't know. This wasn't Fuego 2.0. It was sort of taking that song and really diluting the hell out of it. I think 13th is fair enough. This really underperformed, you have to say. It was expected to do a hell of a lot better. In the results, 20th with the public, ouch, and 11th with the jurors. So again, quite a bit of a difference there in terms of opinion. It's very interesting taking a look at these mid-table tracks. Really notable differences in some instances. Anyway, just ahead of Malta, just below Denmark. It's a good pop song, but I haven't listened to it in a long time, and it's not an entry that I've seen many people talk about for a while now. Obviously, we have to skip past 2020 and move on to Rotterdam 2021. Where shall I put replay? Yeah, it's very catchy stuff. I'm going to put Cyprus 2019. Oof, I think I'm going to put it here. Why not? I'll go through this little list in a short while. So 2021, who finished in mid-table? Take a wild guess before I tell you. Oof. I can't even think. It wasn't Bulgaria. Who cares? Let's find out for sure. Finishing in 13th place was Moldova. Of course, Natalia Gordienko back for a second bite of the Eurovision cherry after finishing towards the bottom in 2006. Moldova's second ever entry, a performance where she just essentially took all her clothes off. This is Sugar. She dropped the microphone at one point. One of the most memorable things about this performance, to be honest with you. 115 points. This was when the song was released, a lot of people were very excited about it, gushing over it, in fact. I thought, yeah, this is fine, you've got the dancing ice cream cones, it's all a bit silly, fair enough. But Moldova, you know, slightly wacky out there entries have definitely worked for them in the past. We saw it again this year, of course. And then the performance in the second semi-final, I believe it was, yes, went through in 7th place. I think people started going off it. The staging wasn't that great, to be honest. She was on this sort of square podium, sort of guys in black outfits and glasses, was it? Yeah, visually, this wasn't nearly as impressive as it could have been. They really toned it down from the music video. But anyway, mid-table, 115 points. As I said, let's take a look at the split results. Moldova finished 12th with the public. That's fairly generous. And 15th with the jurors. Fair enough. It's a fairly catchy entry. I don't really remember how it goes apart from the chorus. I know that Natalia's a little bit of a cult figure in the world of Eurovision these days, I think it's fair to say. Where shall I put this song? Sugar. And so on. Can't say I really love it. Can't say I've really listened to it since. I don't even think it's a personal qualifier for me. It was at one point, but certainly not anymore. I've definitely gone off it. Oh man. Let's put Moldova 90. Whoops-a-daisy. Moldova there. There we go. Song 14 on the night. 13th place the result. That leaves 2022. Who finished mid-table this year, ladies and gentlemen? Estonia, maybe? Let's take a look. How many countries were in the final? 25. So we're looking at song 13. Yes, indeed. It is Estonia! Way! What a guess. This is Stefan with Hope. Finally getting the chance to go to Eurovision. Armenian roots. Lovely track this. Liked it from the first time I heard it. Bit of a country and western vibe, but not too over the top. At the national final, Ace Laul, he had the two cowboys. They went for Eurovision. It was just him. He was bopping about, really trying to get the crowd on side. Acoustic guitar, not really playing it. A little bit damaged by the arches facing the wrong way. Would have looked a lot better if they were actually working, but there we are. What's done is done. Really lovely track. 141 points for this. I'm going to put Estonia here. There we go. Lovely stuff. Yeah, great song this. Very feel-good. Didn't see many people rank this very low down. Didn't see many people rank this too highly either. But it was always likely to do very well in the Estonian national selection, if not win. And of course he did win. Great singer, very smooth voice. In the second semi-final he went through in 5th place. And then if we take a look very briefly at the split results, he was 10th with the public. That really is very good. And 15th with the juries. And in the second semi-final, he was 7th with the public and 3rd with the juries. So a sort of switcheroo there, in opinion, for the grand final 2 days later. There we go. Really don't have much more to say. I think it's a little bit on the repetitive side. It is in my personal top 10 of this year's lineup. But I have gone off it ever so slightly, I have to say. Of course, the runner-up in Ace Laul was Minimal Wind and Elizabeth Tiffany, and had What to Make of This gone to Eurovision instead, I wonder where Estonia would have finished in the end. I wonder. Anyway, mid-table obscurity, mid-table mediocrity, but none of these songs are mediocre. Like I said earlier, they're really not. They've just sort of maybe been brushed under the carpet a little bit over the years. So with that being said, let's take a look then. Here's my ranking of these songs. Last, It's My Life, Romania 2013. Never really been a fan of it. Then we have Cherno i Belo, North Macedonia 2012. Really don't mind that song, but can't rank it any higher. Then it's My Friend, Croatia 2017. Then it's Moldova, Sugar, from 2021. Then it's 2015, Slovenia, Here For You. Then we have Loin d'ici, Austria 2016. Then we have Hunter of Stars, Switzerland 2014. You know what? I'm going to try and find that poem in a little bit and read it aloud to you. And then we have my top 3 of these mid-table tracks. Replay by Tamta 2019, Cyprus. Merci, France 2018. And my winner, Estonia 2022, Stefan with Hope. Lovely stuff. Let me know your thoughts on all of those songs. And also let me know what you think about songs finishing in mid-table. Are they forgotten about very quickly? Should they be forgotten about very quickly? Are there any songs that have finished in mid-table within the past decade or even before then that you think should have done a lot better or maybe even a lot worse? I'm very, very interested to know. Now, as a little literary treat, ladies and gentlemen, it might take me a while to find this because the website isn't the best. If I can't find it, I'll have to leave it. Maybe I'll post a link in the description or something. Oh no, here we go. Hunter of Stars is a poem that I wrote for my Master of Fine Arts degree. Got to scroll back quite a while here, so do bear with me. I was going to make a whole bunch of videos about this, my Eurovision influenced master's manuscript. So maybe that'll be my next video, actually. Reading some poems aloud, if it's your sort of thing. Come on, then. Now, how long... Aha! Hunter of Stars. Yes, indeed. So this was written at some point between 2018 and 19. Here we go. It's very simple, this. And it's written in this sort of swaying structure. The children in the park are chasing stars again. The dog lolloping along. All tongue flopping, spit chucking. Sky is a tapestry of blueberries, and giggles fill the night, hunting all the teeth the fairies pinched before. There you go. And you can read that poem if you wish. Link in the description as always to my other social media pages. Just scroll through and you will find that poem, along with all of the other Eurovision influenced poems for my master's manuscript. There you go, a little treat at the end if you want to call it a treat. Until next time, let me know your thoughts. Very, very interested to know. Thank you for all of the support. I always say that now, it really does mean a great deal to me. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is. I had to create a new Instagram profile several weeks ago, well, months ago now. So give that a follow if you want. Loads of poems on there as well. And until next time, enough rambling. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and hopefully you'll be back again soon. Bye for now.